Hi, my name is Michael Naranjo, and welcome to Real Music Works. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I got involved with band life, and it began with a group called Alma Rose. On the weekends, coming back from school, when I stopped the whole second record and I kind of walked away from all of that for a little bit, I spent weekends going to Durbanville, going to Belleville. There was a little church there around the area. And on Friday nights, I used to end up going with friends, end up going to youth group at this church. And what happened, I used to do that, but then on the right, there was this park called Donny Hayes Park. And Donny Hayes Park was sort of like a huge field, and you could go in there and just, picnic or do whatever. And at this point, people on Friday nights were setting up bands, and bands like 316 and Soul Tattoos. They were like, Nasham. I mean, there was some really cool bands. They were all like singing Christian songs, but they were mosh pitting. It was like, what is going on here? And I came from singing with backtracks for 4 years, or what, 2 to 3 years. I was with backtracks. It was cool because I had the guys from that sessions, Moritz and Danny and White and all of them. They obviously it was mixed, and I had those backtracks when I used to tour in the churches and play it and perform it live. So it was just the guitar, my voice, and the backtrack. So what happened is that when I saw the power of the band, the power of the movement of band, and I mean, we call it breakdowns or drops. It was just when the band would go halftime, heavy, and I would just, we want to see Jesus lifted high, and they would drop into a half beat, and it was and I was just like, this is real. This is happening. This is happening. It's like, oh, this is what I want to do now. This is the next level, which I had no experience in. And some good human beings. I was working at a music store, and really some good people that gave me sort of my first job at a music store. I mean, what I was really doing was playing the guitars. I wasn't selling anything. But there was this really cool vibe that after work we could jam, and we had the sound equipment, and it was. I was really grateful for that period. I mean, it was something, I was growing into something that I don't know where I was going, what I was doing, but I wanted to prove a point. Unfortunately, what we should do in music is never hold things personally. We got to let things go. I held on to so many grudges that I blew so many relationships through thinking that, I took it too personally. Music I got to take personally, but getting involved with other human beings is something else, and there were so many relationships that I blew. That's small mistakes as we're going along, is value these relationships more than their skill or what they can do, what they can offer. Sometimes it's just great holding on to people, and it's very difficult these days. Most bands in the past would stick around forever, I mean, look at Iron Maiden, they're just, holding the line, and AC/DC going strong and stuff like that. But to start a band, sometimes, that's why I learned where solo artist and band life is two very distinctive things, there's more of a compromise in a band situation, which I wasn't prepared to do. And unfortunately, it frustrated so many of the musicians that I've worked with. So at a certain point, I was trying to, my point was, guys, it's about the song. Please try and follow it the way, because I was so once again, a bit naive, thinking that you know everything. I felt that I knew the structure of music, or structure of popular music, and not everybody's going to flow with that. If he's into like Pantera, he's going to like to slow the groove down, or Machine Head or stuff like that. I mean, it was frustrating for a lot of people, and this is where this whole story boils down to not practicing with a metronome or a click track, which is very important. I mean, at this particular point in time, the metronome in music, when you learn piano in your first grade, it teaches you a certain kind of discipline, because it's read out like that in the book, in the music book. There's a certain kind of allegro tempo and this kind of tempo and that tempo and half time, and you learn that through the different kind of beats inside of this consistency of tempo. But some music cannot do that. I listened to a lot of old Bon Jovi songs, and there was no, Born to Be My Baby was not done on a click track. It's all pure feel. Tico was just riding the lion. So, I mean, in this case, for me, developing into something and starting to work with engineers and on my own outside of the shadow of the music producer was really difficult. I mean, we ended up recording this at Bob Studios in Mabati, and it was quite an experience. A couple of songs then, another couple of songs at Paris Studios in Fisher, and to be honest, it was quite a learning experience. I ended up sending this record to Danny Antle. I was trying to prove a point, like, I can't do it without the record label. I want to do it on my own, and I've got a band. It's really the wrong attitude to have. That's the next mistake. Keep it real. Don't bull your way through everything. Sometimes things take a bit of time, and I would call this the premature. I wish it never got out there. A huge fan base came from this, but I think it was because of our live performance more than the record. When they bought the record, it was a bit all over the place. In saying that, my producer told me, Mike, did you record this with a click track, or do you have particular, because it's a bit, after all that investment, it was a hard lesson, a very hard lesson that I had to learn. And in this, it was difficult to keep a band together and actually to try to do something. So unfortunately, that was such a hard journey and a hard pill to swallow. With good people had donated money into a project. We ended up driving everywhere, staying everywhere, playing festivals, playing with people that we grew up with. I mean, bands like Naked Lyric and Cloud9 and, oh man, come on now. There's just so many really good bands at this particular festival. We saw Dust, which now is Vera Cruz. Go check them out. Very cool band. Vera Cruz. So that band just blew my head off again. It was like a whole other level. So 7 Day Story was a really hard reality check of how the synchronicity in a band really works. It was just and then it just imploded. But towards the end, we were able to at least put something, I was at least able to put something out there that was worth the while. So the band had gone through so much changes. By this time, I was standing on my own and kind of hopeless already, and kind of want to give up. And I've been offered to play in a cover band, and I knew that, okay, cool, I could make some income out of that. And it's getting real now. People aren't booking the band anymore because they can't, laundry gets out there. People, do you know that this? Oh, did you know the band? Oh, they've got a new drummer. And it was such an time feeling exposed to all of this stuff. And I think also that's where I kind of started drinking a little too much. Started smoking, started hurting myself that way vocally. The things we learn as we go along the way, and we're going to be discussing this. But we were able to do a song for television show, and that was the last thing that 7 Day Story ever did before I really joined this cover band Accent full time. We went overseas to Dubai, made some money, came back. And that was the story. That's the vibe with 7 Day Story. That's the story with 7 Day Story. And I hope that you enjoyed it with Real Music Works. Subscribe, don't forget to share, comment, please. Let's do this. Ring the bell, do these little things that you need to do. And I hope that you really enjoyed this episode of 7 Day Story, Real Music Works. Take good care of yourself. God bless.